Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. So last time I watched Cerise. I think that was the last one I watched. Yeah, because it was Rats before that. Um, so this time we'll be watching From the Pinnacle to the Pit. Kind of sounds like the top to the bottom, from heaven to hell. You go from heaven to the pit of hell. Um, Again, like I've said in the other videos, I don't know what to expect. Every song sounds different. Um, the last few ones haven't been nearly as catchy. They're still good, but Mariana Cross, Dance Macabre, and a Square Hammer have just like stuck in my head. These are still good songs. It's just they really haven't had that staying power with me. I don't find myself humming them like I do with those other three. Rats was great, aesthetically, visually, amazing. I love when videos, videos tell a story instead of just having random stuff happening. It tells a story. Sometimes it's lore wise with the band and the characters and that they've created. Sometimes it's just not really random, but it's telling a different kind of story. But visually, it's always different. It's very stunning to watch, very pleasing to the eyeballs. Um, so yeah, this is From the Pinnacle to the Pit. So okay, so first off, I love this style of video. It's got very much Square Hammer to it, but how Square Hammer kind of had like this green, yellow, filtery thing going on. This is like the same style. You have like this mix of live, you got the live people, but then you have like these, whether it's, I think it looks like it might be hand drawn or painted or some kind of non-real backgrounds, but they kind of blend them um, just so nicely. It's just so nicely. And same thing with Square Hammer. You see a lot of this like lightning going on. In Square Hammer, you saw the projection reel, and you just saw all this lightning going around it, kind of symbolizing power and connections and all that. But I love the fact it's like you they zoom in on the city where you can tell the city isn't actually real. It's either drawn or painted or CG or something, but they zoom in and I'm talking about Square Hammer. And then you see him, he's in the car and he's reading the newspaper, and just the blend of live action and this and the transition between that, it's just so seamless. Um, and this one looks like it's like a 30s, 40s kind of thing. Um, like, gee, golly, um, you know, especially the colors, the whole black and white kind of thing going on. Um, but that beginning, that bass, oh my, I think I might just have to, I might have to change my boxers after that. That was that was freaking juicy. That was God, that was good. But yeah, I love the aesthetic of this. The man who has the power and has the money can attain godhood. Um, so that's kind of what I'm getting from the video. It's, corporations, um, especially back then where they're harnessing the power of electricity, because it looks like it was 1910s, 1920s, 1930s. You had Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla experimenting and creating things with electricity. Um, and before, that was something we could only dream about, harnessing the power of electric, the power of lightning, essentially, to power things. And then here we are powering everyday things with electricity, harnessing that godlike power. Um, but corporations, it's like one of those things. It's like you do what you can to get to the top, but then you just find yourself in that pit. You find yourself in hell because it's not what you expected it to be. You may have all this money and all this, and you're going to these fancy fucking clubs and all these elitist groups, but you're essentially giving a part of your soul in order to do that. You're giving up the things that mean the most. A lot of people give up family and friends and this and that, things that actually mean something, just to climb that corporate ladder, just to get some extra money. And they find out when they finally reach the top, they just right back down because whether they realize it or they just their existence just becomes hollow. But corporations, human beings also trying to attain godhood. If you remember the Tower of Babel in Babylon, people, they wanted to construct a tower that ascended towards the heavens, and God was like, nope, because only people who are that foolish think they can join the gods. That's pride. That's something that humans must never attain, is the power of God. So he saw this tower, and he not only destroyed the tower, but he changed the language of everyone working there so they could never communicate with each other to finish it. That's what happens when you try to ascend to godhood. Bad things happen. Bad things happen. Um, and you see it all the time with corporations, with, Elon Musk, same thing, trying to transfer minds into freaking computers and robotics and this and that, trying to ascend, try to basically outlive and just get rid of death completely almost. Bad things happen when you try to play God. Now, I don't believe in God, but I think there's a price to pay when you try to attain that kind of status, when you're playing with life and death, and you know big corporations do it. um but you get into these things and you think it's great at first, but then it's like here, you think it's all appealing at first, but then you find yourself getting fucked over. um Whether it be, financially, something goes wrong, or suddenly your wife leaves you, your husband leaves you because you're so caught up in work and rather do that than spend time with them. uh Trying to obtain all this stuff comes at a price. Nothing in this world is free, and when it's free, it's usually too good to be true, and there's always a catch. um but um yeah, like I said, visually, I love that frame right there. You've got the kind of like the artwork, you know, and then you've got live, you've got him right there. But just like I've said, the way it works just so seamlessly, because obviously this isn't actually there, but the way they blend it together is just so amazing. It's so perfect. Some of the most stunning visuals I've seen in a music video, like these, like Tobias and just whoever works on these are just, they're they're truly a step above And before I was getting into Ghost and all that, people were saying this is like something you would see like Eurovision, like one of those Eurovision bands. But this is like a Eurovision band done correctly. Um, this is like what Eurovision bands wish they could do. You see like Swedish bands, and even Swedish people are like, yeah, our music kind of sucks. You see it like Eurovision and music and this and that. And it's like, no, ours kind of sucks. This band is what those bands wish they could be. So they've really achieved something. And the fact they've been around since what, 2006. But yeah, the whole, 1920s, 1930s look. Uh, well, gee golly, Pop, I'm real sorry. Well, son, it's kind of like the vibe that you get. Um, and also I get that idea is with the son, because it's like the son being inducted into this, almost like that father trying to put life goals on the son, which he knows he can never really achieve. It's like, well, look at me, I'm successful. I've given up everything. You can do the same. And then he pushes that idea onto his son, or these parents put that on their kids, and then these kids grow up to be absolutely miserable. And then, like we see at the very end with him jumping off the tower, a lot of them do end up actually, themselves, because they're just so freaking miserable thanks to their parents forcing this crap on them. It's just because you're some rich snob doesn't mean I want to end up like that, So it just kind of also seems like the case of a father forcing his ideals, forcing his success, and trying to live through his son. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be around forever, and I'd like to live on through you. And sometimes that's not the best thing for the son or the children. Sometimes the children will end up miserable. Having like, oh, I have this entire empire, but I'm miserable because this is not what I want. But yet I can't stop because I don't want to disappoint my father, So that's kind of what I see with this whole being inducted into this group. And he grows up, and he finds out that it's not as appealing as it once seemed. You're younger, it seems great, and then you start to see the poison of the situation. You see all the workings of it, and you realize it's not as ideal as it seems. He wields the power to entrance and enslave. And of course, my interpretation, is it the correct one? Probably not. I know that Ghost and Tobias, they put in different messages, whether it be corporate, just not corporate America, but corporations in general, religion, you name it, they talk about it. If it's like something that people would consider taboo, they talk about it. So is my interpretation right? Probably not. But that's the great thing about songs and videos and stuff. You can interpret any way you want. But here I see people doing what they can to essentially reach godhood. As much money as possible, as much power as possible. Being able to just wave a hand and thousands will do whatever they want. That seems ideal to a lot of people. Being able to just snap your fingers and you can get anything you want because you've got the money for it, or you've got people to do it for you. But then slowly you realize it's not that great. You're living a very lonely life, and that you've sacrificed friends and family and actual important things to obtain this godhood. And like I said, also the whole, harnessing like the power of, lightning and electricity, stuff like that, trying to ascend beyond death and stuff like that. Also very scary. I don't think anyone should be putting their mind into a robot anytime soon. So Elon Musk, seriously, stop that crap. Like neurological chips that can, access things. Just stop. Let's just focus about going into space and finding other planets and learning how to travel to other planets, because we can't even travel our own solar system right now. So let's focus on that instead of the neurological links and everything. Let's learn how to make space travel possible and not have it take 4 or 5 years or whatever to get to Mars, where it takes like a couple days. It's like a day's trip to freaking across country. Let's focus on that first, in trying to instead of trying to avert death and all that. But anyways, yep, that was to the pit, from the pinnacle to the pit, and stunning visually as usual. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.